What's up, everybody? Apurva Terwadkar here, and welcome to the final video in the soft skills training program of Yelgar Club. Now, this video is about a very important topic, presentation skills. Now, what do I mean when I say presentation skills? Well, presentation skills, as you can see on the screen, are well very important. They're important because you need a lot of things that you need to present in life, and these skills, they're probably going to help you better. Now, as I've mentioned in the previous video, these are places I have personally referred to when I wanted some tips on how to improve my presentation skills. If you can see on the your screen right now, you can see you've got guides for personal skills, interpersonal skills, so communication and all of that. You've got leadership skills, learning skills, presentation skills, writing skills, numeracy skills like maths and stuff, and parenting skills. I don't think anybody over here is a parent right now. If you are, I hope you have everything planned, because if you don't, then I'm really sorry for your child. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So, what are presentations? Basically, when you present something to somebody, it is known as a presentation. That is the major definition of what a presentation is. So, what do you mean when you say presentation skills? It is, after all, it's just me presenting something. I say something, somebody listens, voila. No, that is not how presentations work, because if it was that simple, then Steve Jobs would not be known as a master presenter. The way he presented everything, the way Apple, Samsung, and all of these companies present their smartphones, the way movies put out trailers, all of these are presentation skills, because you are putting out some sort of content which people are consuming and they are looking at it and feeling influenced and impressed. That is the power of presentation skills. So let's work on that. First of all, presentation skills are useful because people need to be kept attentive. So when you're presenting to somebody, there is often always somebody, some sort of audience. I am presenting to you the screen that you are seeing right now. So that is the thing. It is an audience that is sitting in front of you and expecting something from you. So when you are looking at presentation skills, you need to make sure that your skills allow you to make your presentation effective. The audience becomes attentive, your audience becomes interactive if your presentations require interaction. And also, majorly, make sure that your presentations are not just effective but also very accurate. Now, there is a difference between effective and accurate. See, when you create a presentation that is effective, it means that what you have typed out or what you are showing people has an effect on people. So it is affecting the people, hence it is effective. But if you are using an accurate presentation, that means everything you are showing right now is accurate. There is nothing wrong with the presentation, all the facts are right, etc. So here are a few things which I generally use a lot as well. So this is something I genuinely give people as well, a kind of guideline. You will present better if you have prepared effectively. Now what that means is that you are prepared enough, you know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, you will never be able to present something. If you know that you're talking about something, if you're talking about a particular topic, like say education or something like that, you know what you're talking about. And because you know, no matter what changes occur during the path of the presentation, it does not work, it does not matter. It doesn't really matter. So when you start off, you need to make sure that unless and until you know what you're talking about, it won't work. So prepare effectively. If you have everything by heart, if you like पाठ करून जर बसला असाल तुम्ही, तर it is fine, it's not that wrong, it's okay. But just remember that even if you have, remembered everything by heart, if you know everything verbatim, there is still a very slight chance that they might ask you to skip to the next slide, or based on your estimation you might realize कि नहीं, we need to skip these two slides so that we can talk about the slides next. So you need to know which slide comes when, you need to know what happens when, and based on that you can decide whether or not you want to do something. So that is one thing, you need to be prepared effectively, you need to know your presentation and your topic. Second, over here, you need to be clear about your audience and your message. Now about the audience, sometimes it is very vague, you don't really know. For example, I've participated in many college events, events in which, well, I've acted as the presenter many times. I've won quite a few competitions because of that. But one thing you never know is what type of audience is in front of you. Sometimes there's almost no audience at all because nobody participated in the competition and you have like 5 or 6 people. So when these 5 or 6 people are sitting over there, it is very important that you pay attention to everybody, whether or not it is 5 or 6 people or a million people. I don't ask you to go, and look at every person in the audience. No, you look at, this is what I do. Okay, this is a personal thing that I do. What I do is I pick out particular sections from the audience that I will constantly look out for, like cycle through them every now and then. That way, when I'm speaking, I can look here, I can look there, I can look there, and I can look back. And that way people will think, okay, he's looking at us, he knows we exist. And that is important, even though the audience does not really care about whether or not you are paying attention. It is very crucial that the audience subconsciously understands that you are considering them, because when you consider the audience, when you talk to the audience, when you judge the audience's reactions, the audience will subconsciously start feeling like you are much better. So in competitions, this always helps. Plus, based on, you can sometimes target a few specific people, you can speak to people before you go there. It's completely up to you, but you need to be clear about your audience and your message. What you are conveying is also very important. If you go in front and you don't have any sort of guidelines ready and you're just speaking with no proper idea of what you're going to talk about, it will ruin your message, because you have a particular message in mind, and when you don't give that message, it will become harder for you as a person to give out your message. When people misunderstand your message, this is why, because you probably don't have a proper message. Now people sometimes misunderstand even if you have a proper message, and they don't really care whether or not you have a message, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Never overrun your allocated time. Now, presentation skills means you have a particular set of minutes in your hand. You have 15 minutes, you have 5 minutes, you have 8 minutes, you have 2 minutes, and you're expected to present everything that you know about that particular topic in that amount of time. How? Good question, right? So the answer to that is very simple. The answer is, pick what you feel is important. If you have case studies, if you have examples for a particular thing, use the case studies. Use the case studies, keep one case study per type or per example or something like that, and try to use as little examples but as effective examples as possible. Use famous examples, use popular examples, go all out with your examples, but make sure you use a lot of explanation rather than just reading out your points. Which brings me to my next point, which is actually not mentioned here, and this is just something that I've noticed. Try to make sure that your presentation slide, the slide that you're presenting on, is as less populated as possible. Less amount of points means maximum focus on you. If you have sentences upon sentences, you copy a paragraph from Wikipedia and you throw it on that slide and you're like, yes, I did it. No, you did not do it. How do I put this in very simple and proper terms? You dumped on your presentation. basically. So what happens is, when you put a lot of information on a slide, people will be paying attention to what is written or what is typed in that slide rather than paying attention to you. And that is subconscious. It is not something that people control all of the time. Some people are actively in control. It is very rare, but it happens. They're like, ठीक है, बहुत लिखा है, मैं यहाँ पे इस पे ध्यान देता हूँ, पता चल जाएगा. But most of the times, images and very small sentences and phrases help convey your point even better. A picture is 1,000 words. A picture says 1,000 words. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Whatever, that is true. A picture conveys lot of emotion, lot of understanding. And finally, their point, generally speaking, your audience starts on your side. Now, this is something I realized after many times. So initially, I felt like the audience is, because I had stage fright. I felt afraid of presenting. But as I realized after presenting in front of so many audiences, and after finding out the basic understanding of how presentations work, you realize that when you're starting presenting, if your topic is good enough, or if they have chosen to listen to you, if you're the only one presenting or something like that, they are sitting there because they want to listen to you. Unless it is a competition, in which case they really don't. But you have to make sure that your presentation is so good that even your competitor will come and tell you that, man, your presentation was really good and it was better than mine, and I felt really cool and all of that. If your competitor comes and tells you that, you need to know that you've hit it at the sweet spot. Yeah, so as a rule, your audience is there voluntarily. Voluntarily means of their own will. Involuntary meaning not of their will, so they don't control it. Voluntary means because they chose to do so. They have chosen to listen to you and they want to enjoy your presentation. The occasion is yours to lose. So that means they want to enjoy your presentation. What does that mean? It means they really want to enjoy it. But if you really do not want to make them enjoy it, then it is not their fault. If you really screw up your presentation, it is not their fault. They wanted to enjoy it. You did not let them. That's the final answer. Now, an important point, if what you're doing or saying is not working, do something else. So that is very true. So one of the worst feelings as a presenter is you have lost your audience. You know that's happened, but you continue to stumble through your remaining PowerPoint slides for next 15 minutes as they check their phone and wish it was coffee time. So you have no choice. You think you have no choice, but that's not actually true. Yes, so this is very true in terms of how you present. So basically, when you're presenting something, let's say you're talking about, or let's just assume you're doing stand-up comedy, or not even stand-up comedy. You're at your best friend's marriage, your wedding, and he asks you to give a speech, and you go in front of there and you're talking about things that only you and your best friend are laughing at and everybody else is just bored. You've lost your audience. So how do you keep your audience excited about it? Well, the answer is pretty simple. You make sure that you talk about things that the audience will be able to relate to, or the audience might probably know, or that the audience just wants to laugh at. And you use that. So that is the thing. And laughter, by the way, jokes are very helpful in a presentation, especially because if you make the judges laugh, if you make the judges smile, or if you even make the judges go, that is a plus point. So that is very important. And also, this is very important, by the way. When you present, you are in charge of the room. So what that means is the audience has effectively handed you control and is sitting back waiting for you to do something. So if you have something prepared, as I said before, if you feel like this is very short on time, or if you feel that we have not a lot of expectations from the audience right now, or the audience doesn't expect a lot from you, what you can do is you can switch from a bare monotonous thing into a much more cheerful version of yourself. Or what is even better is you can immediately skip a few slides which are probably talking about the same boring thing, and then you can go on to something that is slightly better, probably an example, probably a fun slide, probably an animation, something that you know will capture their attention, will capture them again. And that is very important. And that is what happens in the end is, as I mentioned, the best way to do that, to help your audience get most from your audience, is to accept feedback. Look at the audience, judge the reactions. As I said before, if you see that your audience is smiling, that is great. If you see that a particular group of audience is smiling at one joke, you know that this particular group of people is probably your best bet for this type of presentation. So you can switch your mode of presentation a little bit to appealing to the other audience. You can do a lot of things. You are the presenter, everything is in your hand, you are in control. Now there's a quick guide to effective presentations. This is like a top tips for effective presentation and stuff like that. So I'll be putting this on our Google Classroom forum so that you guys can read this whenever you want in the presentation events and stuff like that. But what I'm going to talk about next is something that you probably are questioning yourself about. So if you're asked to make a presentation and if they do not specify that you have to use PowerPoint, what do? Do you use PowerPoint, which is very boring? You can make PowerPoint entertaining, but it is very hard to do so if you do not have proper templates, if you do not know how to make templates. What do? Well, there is this Prezi. Yes, Prezi. So now Prezi is a presentation software. It's a cloud-based presentation software that uses 3D actions, 3D motions to make your presentation look better, feel better. So to prove my point, I'm going to be showing you this presentation that I made in Hyderabad. So this is a presentation I made upon a topic called edutainment. It was based on approachable and practicable education on primary level. And I won't be giving you more details about it, but this is what we did. So you can see that we are zooming in and zooming out into what we want. And that is the thing. It is very useful. It is extremely cool to use something like this, because first of all, you need to clarify with the organizer that yes, I'm going to use Prezi, do you mind? Prezi uses online facilities most of the time. For a free account, you can only present online, you cannot download your presentation and stuff like that. You need a premium account for that, and it's a bit expensive, so I just prefer a free account. But if you have a Prezi account that is not free but premium, then you are in luck, because you can download your presentation and present it anywhere. You can send that file, etc, etc. Now when it comes to these types of presentations, you need to realize that Prezi is still paid. So what do? Now I'm going to be opening this search and you'll see what I mean. So best presentation software, you type anything, you'll find a list of big things to follow. So as I said, best presentation software in 2020, best alternatives to PowerPoint, attention grabbing presentations for free. Now first is Prezi. As I mentioned, Prezi is cool, Prezi is awesome. It has multiple different templates and stuff like that. It is free for a lot of times, and you get an offline thing, but it is paid and you don't really need it most of the times. Some trial and error. It is a bit hard to understand initially, but once you understand, you can just do whatever you want. Next is Canva. Now Canva is very cool. I use it for making multiple different graphics, posters. The poster for this course, all of the posters for this course, soft skills course, or all of the course under Yelgar's Yelgar Club, it was all done on Canva. And that is the thing, they all look cool, they all look nice, and that is very cool. So what you can do is, a presentation on Canva basically means you create a presentation, you export it as an image, and then you import it or you export it as an image cluster folder. So you can search over there and you can just go ahead. You can present it live online, which is easy as well, but it's a bit hard to export it to a finished PowerPoint editable format. Also next, LibreOffice. Now LibreOffice is exact same thing. It's a free and open source alternative to PowerPoint. It does exactly what PowerPoint does, and it's free and open source. You do not need more things. It doesn't really need all of that. It lacks some modern features like built-in collaboration and integration with Microsoft Drive, OneDrive, but that's fine. Nobody really uses it. And Google Slides is also cool actually. They have a lot of good templates. They're really cool, and it doesn't really matter to Google what they're doing because it's used by many people. And finally, WPS Office. Now, WPS Office is Chinese, so it has been banned in a lot of places, but that's fine. It's not really necessary that you have to have the, thing. It's a lookalike. It fully supports PowerPoint files without layout issues. It has a lot of animations. It has a lot of templates. It has a lot of cool features. And for a free software, it's pretty cool. So you need to look at that as well. So these are the 5 ones that I know about. There are a few more actually. If I think it's called Slide Dog. Okay, so there is Slide Dog. I remember one called Visme or something. Infographic software and presentation maker. Okay, so Slide Dog is an offline thing. It's like a presentation maker. It's quite free, I feel. It's got many features. None of these are sponsored, obviously. We have no money from anything. It lets you combine PowerPoint presentations, PDF files, Prezi presentations, and all of that into one innovative, seamless viewing experience. So it has these things. I'll be linking quite a lot of these. Just drag and drop your files if you want. You can create custom things, but I'm pretty sure it requires a paid version or something. Real-time sharing and all, interactive elements. You've got presentation feedback, polls, audience chat, and stuff like that. That's cool. Crossfade remembers the state, so you can go forward and backward, dual screen support and stuff like that. It's not really necessary for us, but it's cool. You need to know features. And Visme is like Canva. It allows you to make infographics. It allows you to make lots and lots of different graphics and posters and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And I've used it in the past. I just didn't really catch on with it as I caught on with Canva, and that is why I prefer Canva over all of these, but I still prefer Prezi. I always use Prezi. You can see the sheer number of presentations I've made, and you'll realize just how much I've made. And I've won most of my presentations using Prezi, and that is I feel like it's like a secret factor. I probably don't present as good. It's just the presentation that matters, and that is what really matters sometimes, how you present something. Even on PowerPoint, if you have a template, make sure that template is really good. Make sure the fonts are proper. Make sure your I really feel like you should see this, because you'll understand what I mean by minimum amount of information. Okay, so vehicular autonomy, it's a presentation I did, and I've won like 3 times or 4 times using the same presentation, just making changes in the names. So if you go inside, you'll see so many minimal things. You do not see a lot of information on any of the slides. Here's how it works, and so over here you have many points, and these points are very small, not long sentences. It's just one small sentence most of the times, except for this one. It's slightly big because it has information. Then it's an image. Then again, very minimal information. Again, minimal information. And you go to this levels of autonomy and stuff like that, in full control, one function and stuff like that. Just minimal as possible. So when you do that, you immediately capture the audience by making sure that they realize, this is small, but it is cool. And that is what matters. That's it for this video. If you guys have any doubts regarding this, it will be cool to answer all of these questions, because it is really important to make sure your presentation skills are better. I hope you've done all of your I hope you've done every assignment I've asked you to do, because it is important that you do your assignments. The surprise assignment I expected by the 7th of August, and your final assignment will not be an assignment, it will be an assessment. It will be a final examination kind of, and I'll be expecting you to do a lot from it. I'll be giving you a week of preparation for that, so don't worry. It's going to be one more week and then it's going to be fine. That's it. it's for the video. If you have any doubts, WhatsApp group and the Google Classroom forum. That's it.